3 simple ways that you can deal with regret. I am living with a bunch of regret. I don't know if you ever feel regret. I don't know if you ever feel like, man, I wish I hadn't have done this, or I wish I would have done that. But today I feel that regret. There's 3 things that I'm feeling regret about. The first one is that I had some really amazing experiences today, and I didn't get any footage of any of them, which means I couldn't share any of those amazing experiences with you. I feel sad about that because I got to have some awesome conversations and go to some neat places and do some cool things. And I can't share footage of any of that with you. Of course, maybe someday I can take the story of those times and share that with you. But I wish that I would have taken just a little bit of footage so that I could have told you about the day through that video. But I didn't, and I regret that. The second thing is that I had some really good conversations, but I feel like there are a few conversations that I didn't have that I wish I would have engaged in. And I regret not approaching that person. And the third thing is that it's getting late and I haven't exercised yet today. So I kind of feel that regret. And so I was like scrolling through social media and I was thinking about regret. And I was thinking about those things that I didn't do. And I was kind of starting to feel a little bit heavy and a little bit burdened and a little bit overwhelmed. And so I just decided in that moment, like instead of just continuing to scroll, just laying in bed and scrolling, I'm going to get down here on my knees. That's where I started the day. The first thing I did when I got out of bed this morning was I got on my knees. And I don't do that enough. But when I get on my knees, what I'm doing is I'm praying. I'm connecting with God. And I get on my knees because that's one way that I physically feel like I'm postured, like I'm in a position to connect with God. God, it says he gives grace to the humble. And so when we humble ourselves, and being on your knees is like a position of humility. It's a position of kind of giving up or surrendering to the person that you're bowing in front of. And so when I get on my knees, I'm reminding myself like, I'm not the one in charge. God is. And being on my knees praying is my connection point with God, being connected to God. And in that is wisdom and insight. It's peace and joy, and it's power. It's literal power from God. Like I change and the situations around me change when I pray. Prayer is so important. It's how I understand how God is using the trials in my life to draw me closer to him. Like it says in James, blessed are you when you face trials of many kinds, for the testing of your faith develops perseverance. So for me, when I go through trials, like I connect with God and I see it the way that he sees it. And so prayer is so important for me. It's my knees. It's the way that I connect with God. And then the second thing is, one of the other ways I deal with regret is that I open my mouth. The Bible also says that we enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. And so I can be thankful. When I think about the day, when I think about the things that happened or didn't happen, instead of approaching that with, I wish this or I wish that, what about, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the conversations that I did have. I'm thankful for the places that I did go to. I'm thankful for the people that I did get to interact with, the things that I did get to do. It's really good, actually. And the more that I enter into that place of thankfulness for what God has done, thankfulness for the life that I have, wow, God shows up in that moment. And this is actually a really powerful way to deal with spiritual warfare. Like some of the heaviness that comes into your life might be because you're being attacked spiritually. And when we're thankful, when we open our mouths, not just say it in your heart, but open your mouth, you're doing something. Like you're affecting the atmosphere around you. And so choose thankfulness. Choose to speak it out, to speak out thankfulness. I feel like that using my mouth is one of the ways that I can deal with regret. And then the third thing that came to my mind when I was processing through this sentiment of regret was my hands. And sometimes I'm sitting here, I'm like kind of throwing a little bit of a pity party, kind of getting a little bit distracted, a little bit thrown off. And I realize that sometimes that trial of regret, that struggle actually comes from my own bad attitudes, my own sinfulness, my own unwillingness to engage God in his agenda instead of my agenda. Sometimes I miss out on God's best just because I'm too focused on myself, like fear about what the future is going to hold or bitterness about what the past was like. Those things destroy my opportunity to live out the fullness of God's life in me. Like maybe you regret not going to the gym, you regret not working out. Like, all right, take action. Like get on your knees, be thankful and speak out the thankfulness that you have for the things that you do have. And then take action. Make it happen. Put your hands to work. Because I believe in these 3 places, when we get on our knees and open our mouths and put our hands to work, God will meet us in those places. I want to encourage you with that, because I believe that today, whenever you see this as an opportunity that God is going to deal with that regret, he's going to deal with that junk that you're holding on to. He's going to process that with you. He's going to work through you. You're going to see some amazing things happen real soon. So let's process that regret together. This is 3 simple ways that you can deal with regret. You can get on your knees, you can open your mouth, and you can put your hands to work. I believe that God is doing something awesome. So let's go. Let's go right now.